Let's focus now on match week 34. Let's preview it in the Premier League. Obviously, the focus is all on the title race, top four battle, relegation scrap, the race for European places. Heading into the business end of the season, the very, very business end of the season, so much and everything is on the line for teams up and down the league. Let's start with Arsenal against Manchester United. Nick, at the Emirates, two teams in the top four battle. Arsenal got that massive win against Chelsea in midweek to reignite their hopes after that poor run for Arteta's side. Man United hammered away at Liverpool, really humbled there, but then they have the news that Erik ten Hag is coming in and is confirmed as the new manager. So even without him being on the sidelines, do you think they have a bit of a new manager bounce and maybe some of these players will start to prove that they deserve to be around next season? Is that a thing? I mean, who do we think's favoured in this game? Because Arsenal seem to play better against the better teams throughout the season. And I feel like Man United will give their young players a lot of room to exploit defensively.
I'll tell you what, the last time when we were speaking and there was a who's he going to come to next? Who's Joe going to pick first? And it was, will Arsenal finish above Tottenham? I was like, pick Andy, pick Andy, pick Andy. And I feel the same way now because I don't know what I'm going to get with Manchester United. I have no idea. And that goes right up to their manager. He keeps, and again, I don't think this kid is bad, but like he keeps trotting out Elanga as if he's going to just make it happen. Like, I'm just going to make this kid a star. I don't know what I'm going to get formation wise. I don't know what I'm going to get tactically. I thought his tactics against Liverpool were going to be great, or were great when he came out with the high press. And it looked like for about 4 minutes that they were designed well. They weren't just sprinting into it. They were keeping their lanes. And then Liverpool scored and it was just over. And that could happen again. And I feel like Man United needs to get to halftime of a game with a 0 on the board just to know they can do it. They look bad. They look disinterested. But on the flip side, you've got that potential coach bounce. You got, if he's available and coming back, obviously a very emotional. They had a lot of support for Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, so did the Liverpool crowd. That was brilliant as well. You've got one of the best players in the world coming back. It's such an X factor. I don't know what to predict other than I think we're going to see Arsenal score. What Manchester United's going to do, I defer to you, gentlemen.
Wow. I just think from Arsenal, we're going to see all that attack because it worked well against Chelsea. And in recent games, when they've tried to be more solid defensively with some of the key players they're missing, just hasn't worked. And they give up some big chances in games, but they haven't been able to catch teams out or take as many risks. So I think they're much better suited now in the final few weeks of the season to just go for it. And I think that for Saka, it suits him. For Odegaard, for Smith Rowe, I think this game sets up very well for Arsenal, considering the shambles that Man United are right now. And also the fact that Man United basically have to win this to keep alive any chances they have of finishing in the top four. But Andy, mammoth game here. What are you looking for in Arsenal against Manchester United?
Yeah, I was listening to Nick there describe United, and it almost sounded like, you're describing a toddler with a very short attention span who, trying to figure out how to make the blocks work together. 2 tries, doesn't work, throw them everywhere, give up, quit. That was kind of the attitude and the body language that we saw from Manchester United in that game against Liverpool. And I don't know how in 3 or 4 or 5 days' time you just flip that back and say, okay, we're refocused, we're re-engaged, we are really here to fight. I almost don't think it doesn't matter that the new manager has been announced. I think the conversation we had about United this week already, again, enough of those players either know that they are leaving the club in the summer or they are not going to be a starting caliber player for Erik ten Hag. And so I think at this point, it's just about how quickly can United get to the end of the season. I think there are a number of players there who have very little interest in finishing the season strong and proving themselves because they've had all season to do that and they've not done it. They had the chance to do that when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came under fire, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fired, when Ralf Rangnick was brought in, when Ralf Rangnick started struggling, when Ralf Rangnick had to change his there have been a lot of moments for this Manchester United team and for certain individuals in there to say, okay, lads, like we really have to come together now. We have to do this. We are Manchester United. Do you understand what that means? And it doesn't feel like anybody there. There's certain ones that understand that. And obviously Cristiano Ronaldo was there during some of the glory days, but it doesn't feel like that's his role in the team. And so I just look at the team and I don't see where the inspiration comes from for this game against Arsenal. If Arsenal go all out the way they did against Chelsea, it could look a lot like the Liverpool game for United because the space that will be opened up, the pace that they will be hit with, it's just a terrible, terrible matchup for United.
But that said, they're only 3 points behind Arsenal. All of that mess all season long. Arsenal have played a game less, so they have a game in hand. But yeah, it's almost like focusing. When I look at Man United now, I'm almost thinking about the players they can bring in under Ten Hag in the summer. I'm thinking, if they can afford to pay the money for Declan Rice, which they probably could, he would be sensational in that midfield. Or Darwin Núñez up front from Benfica, he would be great up top and would fit into the model of young, hungry, talented players that Ten Hag can mold into a system. So it's almost, we talked about earlier, flip-flops being on. I think Man United's players have gone past that. They are on the sun loungers. They've got the book out, the sun cream's applied. They are fully on holiday, a lot of those guys. And they shouldn't be, because they are, if they win this game against Arsenal this weekend, they'll be level on points with the Gunners, having played a game more, and have maybe a bit of momentum late in the season. But, who knows? It's going to be a great game. And I think what we're going to see is all-out attack, because both teams defensively all over the place. And I think their best form of defense is attack. Is a cliche, but late in the season, they just got to go for it now if they want to finish in the top 4. Focusing on the title battle, obviously 2 big games. And what's really interesting is that these teams are playing, Man City are playing ahead of Liverpool this weekend, and then it's vice versa next weekend. And there's that back and forth. Liverpool are now top. Now Man City have regained the lead at the top. It's great this time of year. But Nick, Man City, Watford, on paper, is a very, very routine home win for Man City. Tell me differently. Is there any way Watford can spring an upset here?
So during the Brighton game, it had only been about 20 minutes, and I was starting to get this itchy feeling like, maybe they are going to blow it. And of course they came around and they scored 3 goals in the final 40 minutes. Here's the thing, though. I remember during the game a few times, you know what goal I started thinking of? The Company goal that clinched their title. They've been here. And this is the first time this year that I really realized this. The Liverpool game's in the rearview mirror, and Man City, almost every player on that field has been in this position and is not going to freak out. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to score. They're not going to get shut out and hand it back to Liverpool. And let's face it, Liverpool is also comfortable in the chasing position. But when I look at Watford going in pure desperation against a machine, a team that's looking at it in calculus and math, right? So Watford, we need to get a win here. Let's try this. And Man City, they've just done this so many times. This is the plan. If we do it enough, we're going to beat Watford. So I can't imagine. I can't imagine that Watford is going to get a win here. And on top of that, I think we saw in retrospect with the lineup that City put out for the FA Cup semifinal against Liverpool, and then how organized and clearly designed those absences were for the win over Brighton. I just don't think they're going to let it slip.
No, I don't think so. And the way Pep Guardiola nonchalantly after that says, we just have to win all the games and we're the champions. No big deal. It's like, they have been there before. They have done that. And they essentially had to do that in 2018-19 when Liverpool pushed them all the way until the final game of the season. But Watford, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they are much better away from home than they are at home. The reason they're going to go down, which is close to being confirmed, is because they are terrible at Vicarage Road. Roy Hodgson's been saying as much. You look at their record, I think it's 2 home wins all season for Watford, which, they picked up more points away. So that tells you that they are dangerous. And I know Andy's been on the Hornets bandwagon for most of this season with the quality of players they have. Good on the counter-attack, but they could spring a surprise if Man City switch off. That's all I'm saying, but they probably won't. And Man City will just demolish them. But anyway, Liverpool against Everton. Massive game, Andy Edwards. Merseyside derby. Obviously, this is a rivalry that Liverpool have dominated for decades. Again, do we see Frank Lampard and Everton getting anything whatsoever from this game? Because obviously their need is great as well in the relegation scrap. They got a late point at home against Leicester. They beat Man United at home. And they've showed a different side to themselves, right, in the last few weeks, that they can actually roll their sleeves up. And guys like Fabian Delph have come in. Gordon's been superb. Richarlison has missed a few chances, but he keeps working his socks off. So Everton have showed that they are up for the fight, but this is a total different proposition because Liverpool are probably, I'd say, the best they've ever been under Klopp right now.
Yeah, I'll say I didn't expect to see that kind of fight from Everton under Frank Lampard as well, because we didn't see it for 3/4 of the season, and then he came in and there wasn't the kind of just galvanization, the new manager bump that we always look for, and it just looked like more of the same. And so I've been impressed with that, and I've been proven wrong a little bit in the fact that he's been able to get them to do that. But at the same time, I mean, you're going to need a little bit more than some fight and belief to play against this Liverpool team, especially going to Anfield, given the form that they're in, given what they're chasing at the moment. And I think that's the interesting thing about the title races. I was listening to Nick talk about it there, and he was saying, Liverpool are comfortable chasing, City are comfortable being in the lead. Kind of fits their styles of play as well. City in possession of the lead, Liverpool pressing for the title lead. I wonder if it was flipped the other way around, though, if Liverpool were the ones having to hold off Manchester City, if Manchester City were having to go on the chase and take more risks and take more chances, if that might suit them worse than playing their style and being in control of the title race. And so I just look at this one from Liverpool. I think every game that they go into, they look at their opponents and they don't even see anything there. They just think, we're going to go out, we're going to walk on this field, we are going to demolish and mow over everybody in our way. We're going to score 3-4 goals. We're going to look fantastic doing it. We're going to turn on the style, and we're going to entertain, and we're going to come out with 3 points. That's almost secondary at this point for this Liverpool team, just given the strength that they have, the strength and depth, and the way that this squad has been built. We spent a lot of time actually talking about Manchester United this week and how they're going to build under Eric Ten Hag, and it made me think about Liverpool and how they've built under Klopp, and how everybody from the manager to technical director to owner to everybody that's involved with transfers and building the squad and coaching the squad is on the same page, and they all have the same ideas. And so they all are clearly working together and communicating amongst themselves. Hey, we need this. Well, what do you think about this? And just presenting ideas, working in harmony together versus 10 different people with 10 different ideas. So that's a long way of going about saying, I think Liverpool probably, this is another really, really comfortable blowout for them, and another game where, I think that we look down the line at a possible Champions League final, if it could be Liverpool and City. And it gets me so excited, because these teams, kind of like Arsenal and Spurs, it feels like they deserve each other right now. Like, we need to see them one more time to see what this is going to look like and settle it once and for all.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, Liverpool, this is, like, for me, not just the project that's obviously it needed to be rebuilt at the start, right? Jurgen Klopp needed to gut it, move on players he didn't want, bring in the players he wanted, but it's the continual rebuild almost season after season, how ruthless they've been to move certain players on, spend big on players they actually want, quality over quantity. I mean, there's a lot that can be said. It's very easy to spend big on players. And then once they're there, it's very difficult to get rid of them. But Liverpool have hardly missed in the transfer market. I can't really remember a signing that hasn't worked out over the last few years. Even Naby Keita's coming into his own now, and just through injuries and bad luck, he has the quality to play and be a key player. So, good luck Everton at the weekend. I think Frank Lampard's side are just going to have to sit back and try and defend, and then see what happens, right? Because they have caused some problems for Liverpool in recent seasons, right, Nick? And some of the draws they've picked up.
The one thing I'll say that really made me think Everton was doomed in this game, not for the season, but in this game, is after the last game, Liverpool, Man United, Thiago Alcantara and Mohamed Salah take the interview together. And Thiago's talking about this incredible experience, and Salah starts laughing, and he says, "You haven't even played in the Derby yet." So, like this, if Klopp has done anything, he's made every single one of those players understand what it means and what Liverpool wants itself to be. Every single one of his fans. And they're going to show up for every game. If Everton is absolutely terrible and they get drawn together 3 divisions apart, Klopp's trying to kill them by 30. This is, I just have no doubt in that way. But I do think it'll be a closer game than we think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a total team, Liverpool. It's the best way I can put it. Whoever's been coming in and out of the lineup, you can just tell that they like each other. The players, the coaching staff, everybody involved, they're all pulling in the same direction. And Liverpool's a very special place to be. So is Man City right now as well. So that makes the last few weeks of the season even more enjoyable for us as neutrals to watch. Okay, some other games to watch this weekend. Chelsea against West Ham. Can West Ham cause a shock and make the the most of these Chelsea defensive errors. Thomas Tuchel's been blaming the pitch at Stamford Bridge for these defensive mistakes. Not sure about that one, Thomas. Yeah. And so they do have a chance, West Ham. If they win at Chelsea, they could just stay in the top 4, even though we know the Europa League semi-finals and potential final is what David Moyes' side are all in late in the season. But I give West Ham a really big chance away at Chelsea in that game. They've done well against them. They beat them earlier this season. I was at the London Stadium for that. And it suits David Moyes' side really well, I think, a game like this against Chelsea, where they can get out wide, whipping a lot of crosses and cause some more chaos. And Brentford against Tottenham, another big game in the top 4 race for Tottenham. Brentford, Eriksen, Tony, and Mbuemo, really good going forward for Brentford. They're in fine form. They're battling for a top 10 finish, the Bees. And it just feels like it's in the script for Eriksen to bend in a free kick maybe late on against Tottenham. Andy, I'm sorry, but it just feels like that maybe might happen because he's been sensational for Brentford. But so many big games going on. And the relegation scrap, obviously, but the likes of Burnley, Everton, as we mentioned, Norwich and Watford just trying to stay in the Premier League. And it's going to be really entertaining this weekend. So, gents, this has been really entertaining today. Loved it, as always. Thanks for joining me for Pro Soccer Talk. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And we'll speak to you all very soon indeed. Enjoy the action this weekend. Cheers, guys.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series, and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches, and much more.